This old man is very bad. He seduces young girls and wives, and then detain them at home to serve him. He has married more than a dozen wives, but still felt that life was not satisfactory. While he continued to do evil, he finally hit a wall. The old smoker did a good thing but bad results last time, and almost killed Hong Yatu. He thought the mountains were more suitable for him, so he and his wife decided to go back to the mountains. Hong Yatu was originally a mountain spirit, and she was more attached to the mountains than anything. She ran away as soon as she entered the mountain, but before she ran far, she suddenly felt weak and fell to the ground and passed out. The old smoker was startled, thinking she had low blood sugar, and hurried over to check. But when he looked up, he saw a red-clothed ghost behind the tree, was staring at them straight. By intuition, the old smoker felt that the red girl fainted. Must be related to the ghost. Seeing the ghost was about to leave, the old smoker didn't waste any words, so he used a shotgun to stop him. The red-clothed ghost saw that the old man was not simple, and quickly explained that it had nothing to do with him. She said the red girl's soul was taken by a locust tree spirit. The locust tree spirit did nothing but evil, and he kidnapped the souls of nearby women as wives. The old smoker was eager to save people, so he asked the red-robed ghost to take him to save her. The red-robed ghost led the old smoker to the big locust tree. He worried that the old smoker couldn't beat the locust tree spirit, so he suggested the old smoker go to the nearby village, borrow an axe, and then go. There was a butcher named Zhang Wei in the village who always likes to use an axe to slaughter animals. Over time, tens of thousands of animals died under the axe. Everything has its nemesis. If he wants to fight the locust tree spirit, this artifact is the best. Listen to others' advice and eat well. The old smoker thought about it. To deal with wood spirit, he really needs an axe. Before leaving, the ghost gave the smoker a hairpin, saying it could help him get the axe faster. The old couple didn't dare to delay. They carried Hong Yatu and they arrived at the village at the foot of the mountain and went to Butcher Zhang's house. Lao Yanhu stated his purpose, but the man refused him at once. It turned out that the butcher had a daughter of his own, but she disappeared a few years ago, so he has been unable to let go of it, so he couldn't be enthusiastic about anyone. The old smoker had no choice. He could only take out the hairpin given by the female ghost. The couple was shocked when they saw the hairpin. It was the hairpin their daughter was wearing at that time. At that moment, the old smoker guessed the general idea and told them about his encounter with the female ghost. The couple cried their eyes out after hearing it. They didn't expect their daughter was killed, and she had been suffering. After wiping away their tears, Zhang led the smoker to get the axe. Zhang said that he killed too many animals. He hadn't used the axe for more than 10 years. To reduce his sins, he has been offering incense to it. Although he hadn't used it for more than 10 years, the axe still looked full of domineering spirit. After handing the axe to the smoker, Zhang told him to save his daughter as well. The old smoker put the axe on his waist. He rode the wind and headed towards the big locust tree. He looked around. It was still early. Following the instructions of the red-robed ghost, Lao Yanqi found a place to hide until the moonlight was the brightest at night. The big locust tree moved. A hole opened at the root of the tree. 2 tree tendrils extended from it and began to suck the essence of the moon towards the moon. The old smoker was waiting for this moment, muttering, "You believe your grandma's leg." He jumped up and slashed at the 2 things. He cut off the tentacles. The tree hole trembled and was about to close. The old smoker wouldn't let him succeed. He swung his axe and rushed into the hole. He rushed in dozens of meters in one breath. A hall appeared in front of him. There was a rough old man standing in the hall. He was covering his bleeding crotch with his hand. When an old man came in, he asked him if he did it. The old man already had 10 wives, but he still wanted to take this old man's daughter. The old man held the artifact. In anger, he directly cut off the lifeblood of the locust tree spirit. Then he broke into the old nest of the locust tree spirit. He looked up. There were indeed several red-clothed ghosts here, but his daughter was not among them. The old smoker was anxious. He raised his axe and asked where he hid his daughter. But the locust tree spirit didn't know which one was the old smoker's daughter. Then it launched an attack. Several tree vines emerged from under the smoker's feet, which were about to entangle him. Laoyan hacked left and right, but he still couldn't get rid of the dense tree vines. Catch the thief first. Laoyan aimed at the head of the locust tree spirit and flew an axe at it. The locust tree spirit tilted its head and the axe slashed his shoulder. The old smoker stepped on his left foot with his right foot and directly circled behind the locust tree spirit. He pulled out the axe from the tree spirit's body and swung it down again. The tree spirit raised his hand to hit, but his arm broke with a sound. The tree spirit was in so much pain that
A flash of cold light appeared in front of his
and the axe
eyes.
came down again. It was too late. He leaned to one side, and his other arm was also taken off by the smoker. The locust tree spirit didn't expect. The dry old man was so brave. He had already cut off 3 of his arms. The old smoker was also anxious, who let this old man touch his sore spot. Before the locust tree spirit could react, the old smoker swung his axe and slashed his leg again. The locust tree spirit was a little loose and quickly explained to the smoker, "Brother, uncle, tell me who your daughter is." The old smoker didn't listen to his nonsense. He swung the axe round and split the tree spirit in 2. Even though the locust tree spirit was chopped into pieces, he still didn't admit that he caught Hong, the red girl. Lao Yan, who saw that the locust tree spirit didn't seem to lie. He asked the ghosts nearby if they had seen the red girl. The other ghosts also said they had never seen the girl. And the old tree spirit only likes young ones, not the old witch. The old smoker was stunned. Could it be the red-clothed ghost outside was lying to him? While he was stunned, he heard a noise behind him. Without paying attention, he was tightly wrapped by the branches, and the axe was dropped. The old smoker found that the locust tree spirit he had cut down was slowly reconnecting its broken body. The old smoker knew it was bad, but without the axe, and couldn't move. The smoker had no choice. He begged those ghosts to help him. The axe was murderous, and the ghosts didn't dare to move. Seeing the vines entangle, the old smoker's snot was coming out. Suddenly, he saw a ghost risking his soul too. Picked up the axe and told the smoker he had to cut off the head of the old wall lamp. The smoker took the axe and quickly cut the vines off his body. Then he heard the ghost say he saw a sister leading a little girl to the graveyard. The old tree root complained about the smoker for wrongly blaming himself. The old smoker was furious. He was deceived by the ghost. But the old tree spirit was not a good thing either. He became angrier. He walked up to him. He chopped off the old tree spirit's head with an axe. Once the locust tree spirit's body immediately turned into dead wood, the cave began to collapse. The old smoker escaped outside and saw the big locust tree had already fallen, and several women's bones were exposed under the roots, all of whom were poor people who were abducted. The old smoker didn't care about these. He ran all the way to the graveyard. Once he arrived, he saw several ghosts pestering Hong Girl. The old smoker was furious. He swung his axe to tell these little ghosts to stay away from his daughter. When he ran out and asked, he found out Hong was playing in front of him. A woman suddenly ran out from behind the tree and reached out to pull out Hong's soul and took her to play. The woman took her to the graveyard and let those little ghosts watch her. The old smoker now fully understood. It was the ghost who kidnapped Hong Ya too. And the locust tree spirit just happened to use his hand to get rid of it. But if it was just that, there wouldn't be so much trouble. The old smoker suddenly realized that that ghost not only wanted to use him to get rid of the locust tree spirit, but also wanted to possess Hong's body. Thinking of this, he pulled Hong to run to Zhang's house. Sure enough, as soon as he entered, saw the butcher and his wife holding Hong and crying. The old smoker was so angry that he raised his axe to chop, which made the ghost quickly hide. The ghost explained that he didn't want to hurt anyone, but just wanted to borrow Hong's body to say a few words to his parents. His wife also came to stop him and help the butcher's family. The smoker wasn't a cold-blooded person, but it involved his own daughter, which made him a little angry. After saying goodbye, the ghost came out of Hong's body, apologized to the smoker again, and then slowly floated away. And the smoker's family finally returned to the cabin on the mountain. Although this woman weighs over 250 kilograms, but she is very timid. Her outfit is also in a sloppy style. She hid behind trees and cried at night. The old lady felt it was too noisy and went out to comfort. The woman looked very shy. She turned on vibration mode when seeing people. She asked why she was crying in the woods at night. The woman cried that she was being abused. Her husband felt sorry for her, so he let her come into the house to talk. Hong and Lao Yan, Gisanmu looked at each other. They didn't know who was abused. When they entered the room, the woman was already sitting on the kang, munching on corn, and was eating corn. She said she was from Hixiazi Valley. Her partner thought she was lazy and gluttonous and beat her for not liking the videos. The wife tried to persuade them saying it's normal for couples to quarrel and fight. Quarrel at the head of the bed and make up at the foot. But the smoker was always there, and occasionally raised some arguments, which made the woman cry even harder, and started crying again and stuffed a few corn cobs into his mouth. The wife was anxious. "Old man, are you going against me?" The smoker hurriedly said some soft words. "Oh, I don't dare. I don't want to be hungry, or have nowhere to sleep." Unexpectedly, these two words made Fatty laugh. And even the red girl next to her thought the old smoker was really afraid of his wife, so they begged the smoker to tell them their love story. The smoker was proud and didn't want to talk. The more he refused, the more they egged him on. Seeing that the smoker didn't want to talk, so she started to talk and told how they fell in love. But after hearing it, Pena felt even sadder and said she had a hard life. The old smoker felt something was wrong. Pena said she lived in Hixiazi Valley, but he had been there countless times. There was no one living there. He was about to ask. The door was knocked loudly. Hong yelled, "Who is it?" "The door is broken, and you need to pay." Lao Yanchu knew that it wasn't Shakansha who was knocking. He quickly pushed Hong behind him. Before he could open the door was slapped away by a palm. A 3-meter tall man came in. He looked like the same style as the fat girl just now. The man came in and shouted for a wife. Pena hid behind her husband. The old smoker saw that he was quite arrogant and tried to stop him, but found that he couldn't push him, but was pushed aside by the big man. Seeing that he couldn't fight, he prepared to think of a way. He used provocation to make the man compete with him. The man fell for it. The old smoker went into the room and took out a talisman and sent a text message to Hussein. This time, Hussein had a good signal and sent it to Hussein as soon as he received it. Coming outside, the man yelled and rushed forward first. He was impatient and wanted to knock the smoker down with one punch, but was easily dodged by the old smoker. The big man was puzzled, back and forth, seeing that the second set of radio exercises was over, but he didn't even touch the old smoker. The man became more and more anxious. After locking the old smoker, he punched the old smoker's rotten teeth. But when he was about to hit, the smoker suddenly disappeared. He was stunned. The smoker appeared behind him, and a palm strike, almost making him fall on his face. The big man was so angry that he lost his big stick and charged again. The old smoker scolded him for not playing by the rules. This time, the old smoker didn't dodge or avoid. He directly punched the swinging stick. He directly punched with a close fist. The thick stick exploded directly, and then hit the man in the upper jaw, and sent him flying out. The big man was repeatedly punched by an old man, and he lost his mind. He roared and charged towards the old smoker again. This time, there was a phantom of a bear behind him. The old smoker saw. He took a step back, and also prepared for a fight. Behind him was the global senior martial arts champion, Hussein Shao. Before the man got close, Lao Yanhu used the move Kang Long Yuhui and sent the man flying again. The man used his butt to plow 2 acres of land and hit a tree, passing out. Pena saw. Her husband fainted and rushed up to slap his face randomly. Hussein saw that the problem was solved and was ready to go home. But Hong stopped him. Wanted to learn kung fu from him. Hussein saw that Hong could see him. He thought this girl was not simple, and left 2 words for Hong before leaving. Pena also woke her up. "Man!" The man walked angrily towards the old smoker, and it seemed that he was a little unconvinced. But the next second, he knelt down directly. He wanted to be his master. The old smoker thought this man needed some training, and told him that as long as he didn't beat his wife, he could say anything. The man's surname is Zhang. Lao Yanqi named him Zhangda. Since Zhangda was defeated by the smoker, he would come to the old smoker's house frequently. Zhangda was subdued by Lao Yanqi, but these days, Hong Yatu is behaving strangely. She didn't go out to play for several days. She did the radio exercises in the yard. Hong was practicing the gymnastics vigorously. A villager came from the foot of the mountain, saying that he asked the old smoker to go down the mountain. The village beauty was sleeping soundly. She felt that someone lifted the quilt, and even something touched her leg. She thought someone had broken into her house, so she hurriedly got up to see. Although she couldn't see anything, she felt something touching her. The village beauty was scared and wanted to shout, but in the next second she felt someone was covering her mouth, and did something to her. The next morning, the village beauty went to the village chief to complain. The village chief heard this and was shocked. He called the two best men to check the scene. But the window and door bolts were intact. They couldn't see any way for someone to enter. Wofeng Longchu agreed that the village beauty was confused, mistaking a dream for reality. The village chief had no choice, so he could only ask them to patrol the village at night. At night, they were arguing while patrolling. When they passed by Wang's house, they suddenly heard someone was shouting for help. They saw a rogue indeed, so they rushed in to see. As soon as they entered the room, Wolong felt a shadow passing by him. They were stunned and saw nothing. They rushed into the Wang's house to catch the rogue, but when they entered the room, there were only Wang and his wife and daughter. Wang's daughter cried that something was there, wanted to pull down his pants, but they couldn't see it. It must be a prank. It's a ghost. Wofeng Longchu heard this was the same as the village beauty said, so they quickly reported to the village chief. The village chief was anxious. If it was a human, he could handle it, but this was not a human, so he quickly asked someone to invite the smoker. After the old smoker understood, he took Hong into the village. The village chief was so happy. The old man was the one who mattered at the critical moment. As soon as they entered the old Wang's house, Lao Yankui's yin-yang eyes jumped and saw the mud footprints on the ground. Not only Lao Yankui, Hong could see them now. He complained that the footprints looked like shit, which made her uncomfortable. To confirm what it was, Lao Yanhu took a little and smelled it with his nose. Damn it! It was really poop. It was disgusting. The smoker almost vomited the dumplings he ate last night. The smoker saw that the footprint was left by that pervert. He thought for a moment. He asked the village chief to gather the older ones to ask something. The village chief shouted on the loudspeaker. Wow! Dozens of people came directly. The smoker didn't beat around the bush. He asked everyone to recall if anyone's death was related to their father. Several old people heard this and thought, why did he ask such a big question at the beginning? A few minutes later, Aunt Qi shouted and mentioned something. She said that decades ago, there was a rogue who peeped at a widow taking a bath when the village people were chasing him. He accidentally fell into the cesspool and drowned without much struggle. But a few days later, that man turned into a pervert and came back to harm people. The village crowdfunded a master, filled the cesspool according to the expert's instructions, and placed an unwritten tablet on it. Then such things never happened again. The old smoker guessed that the wordless monument was the problem and said he was going to see. But when he arrived, there was nothing there. The village chief was so angry that he started cursing. Soon, Zhang Depao, a pig farmer, came. He said it was useless to look, so he smashed it and built a pigsty. The old smoker saw that. He knew he needed help again. Sitting on a kang at home, he went to his spiritual world to find help. It was his own cousin, Ci2. Situ said he was busy looking for a hedgehog and quickly left after whispering to the smoker. The smoker found the village chief and started to plan to catch the pervert. He asked the village chief to find a large cesspool and then told the villagers all the young girls and wives should go back home to make themselves as ugly as possible. Ugly people are safe. Finally, he asked those who had shotgun bullets to bring them for use at night. At night, the old smoker and Hong hid in the dark. In the middle of the night, the pervert sneaked into the house of Niu Kuihua. When he turned his face, almost scared to death, it turned out that Niu Quixia had painted her face brightly, even uglier than a ghost. The pervert was scared and ran through the wall. Niu Quixia signaled to the villagers. The old smoker knew the fish was hooked and chased after the sound. Others couldn't see it, but the old smoker could. He fired 2 shots first. The lustful ghost was scared and ran around. The old smoker chased after him closely until the village entrance. Finally, he successfully forced the pervert into the prepared cesspool. The pervert died in the cesspool, so the cesspool is his Achilles heel. The old smoker waved his hand behind him, and dozens of villagers held various stone urinals. As planned, dozens of shit pots flew into the cesspool. Although shit and urine are dirty things, but they also have the effect of warding off evil spirits. The pervert was thoroughly drenched, and he died on the spot. After giving instructions for the follow-up, the old smoker went home. But not long after he got home, something came to him again. Oh my God, the old lady. Just because of a few words from a young man, she went home and poisoned her pregnant daughter-in-law. One day, the old lady was going to buy things for her pregnant daughter-in-law to nourish her body, but was stopped by a young man. The young man asked the old lady if anyone in her family was pregnant. "What's wrong with my daughter-in-law being pregnant?" The young man said he was destined to help her and wanted to help her resolve the disaster. He said, the old lady's daughter-in-law passed by a graveyard, was destroyed by the fetal
ghost.
heart would mutate, and it would start to harm the family in 3 days. First, the livestock will die, then the men, and there will be bloodshed. The old lady was about to scold him. The young man spoke again. "I am a sage living in the ruined temple in Zishan. You go home and observe if what I said comes true. Come to me for a solution. If it doesn't happen, just treat it as if I farted." The young man turned around and left, but the old lady felt as uncomfortable as swallowing a fly. After going home, the old lady thought for a long time. She asked her daughter-in-law if she passed by the cemetery these days. The daughter-in-law said she went back to her parents' home. She took a shortcut and passed by the graveyard. The old lady felt a bit uncomfortable after hearing that. The next day, she was going to feed the chicken, but found that the chickens and ducks had died for no reason. The old lady became ill on the same day. After her mother fell ill, her son wanted to go up the mountain to pick some medicine, but was hit by a rolling stone and broke his head. The old lady was anxious. She went to the broken temple in the West Mountain to find the young man. The young man gave the old lady a pack of herbs, saying it was for his daughter-in-law. After drinking it, she could get rid of the ghost. The old lady tricked her daughter-in-law into drinking it, but her daughter-in-law died on the spot, killing two. The old lady knew she had caused a big trouble. She picked up a kitchen knife and went to fight with him. But when she arrived at the temple, the man had disappeared. After dealing with his wife's funeral, Zhang Degui just fell asleep. He heard a scream from his mother's room. When he went to check, he was shocked. A baby-like thing was lying on the old lady. Seeing him coming, the evil spirit jumped out of the window and ran away. Before she died, the old lady told her son that she was bewitched by a demon and killed his daughter-in-law and grandson. Zhang Degui had no choice but to encounter this evil, so he went to the mountain to ask the old smoker for help. After hearing this, the old smoker was furious. He called Hong Yatu and went to deal with the demon. Situ told Lao Yanhu that the evil spirit killed a pregnant woman for no reason. Maybe he wants to practice, and asked Lao Yanhu to be careful. Then he asked Lao Yanhu to ask Hu Sanshao, who knows more about this kind of thing. Lao Yan didn't bring paper and pen, and couldn't draw the talisman, and couldn't send a text message to Hu Sanshao. He was thinking about it. The red-haired girl behind said she could contact him. She shook the bell on her wrist. Hu Sanshao appeared. To everyone's surprise, Hong called Hu the master. When asked why, the red girl was mysterious and refused to say. Before asking more, he asked about the... Fortunately, Hu Sanshao knew something, and taught the old smoker the solution. They came to Zhang Degui's house. The old smoker followed Hu's instructions. First caught Zhang Degui with a fishing net. Then they hid in the dark and waited for the fish to bite. Until midnight, a small black shadow appeared on the roof. That thing jumped into the room in a few strokes. The old smoker and his son waited in the dark for a bigger fish. After the thing entered the room, it opened its mouth wide and pounced on Zhang Degui, but was bounced out when it touched the fishing net. The old smoker heard a banging sound in the room. He wanted to go in and see, but at this moment, another shadow slipped in. It was the demon. He took out a dagger and walked towards the room. Lao Yanhu followed him quietly. Seeing Zhang Degui caught in the fishing net, and raised his dagger to stab, the old smoker pulled the trigger outside the window and shot through the man's hand with one shot. Seeing that he was ambushed, the demon broke the window and ran. The little thing also followed closely behind. He saved Zhang Degui. The old smoker quickly led people to his wife's grave, but it was too late. The grave had been dug open. Zhang Degui's wife was gone. The old smoker, who was secretly anxious, opened his left eye. He followed the purple corpse gas on the ground. After several twists and turns, they found the purple gas entered a cave. The two followed carefully. Hong heard a sound above her head. She looked up and saw the little thing climbing on the top of the cave. Lao Yanhu raised his hand and shot, but missed. Seeing that the big one was not easy to deal with, so it pounced on the little one. But the little one was fiercer and directly slashed it with an axe. Seeing that both of them were not easy to deal with, and turned around and ran into the cave. The two didn't chase far. They saw the sorcerer walking out with the baby. Before they could argue, the sorcerer rushed towards the old smoker with a knife. The old smoker was not good at close combat. He raised his gun and shot, while the demon dodged. He threw a dagger at the old smoker, but luckily it stuck in the buttstock before he could react. The little thing on the other side also bit him. Hong Yatu seized the moment and killed him with an axe. Just as the old smoker was stunned, the other hand of the demon stabbed the smoker. Hong was panicked when she saw blood and quickly called Husen Shao for help. The old smoker looked down and luckily caught the blade with his hand, so he didn't get stabbed. Just as the demon was about to strike again, Lao Yanchu felt like he had received a cheat code. He grabbed the demon's hand and slapped him on the chin. Then he delivered a palm of turtle-style qigong, which directly knocked the demon down to the ground. Before he could get up, he stepped on his hands and feet and broke them. After dealing with the demon, Husen Shao just told Hong to practice more and disappeared in smoke after dealing with Zhang Degui and went back home. Zhang Da in the yard shouted to compete with Hong Girl, but Hong wasn't interested in that because a strange man came into the room.